Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. It's your weekly car talk show, the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, Konrad will have the car clinic. We'll have this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong, and we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. Have we got all of our technical issues ironed out now?
Maybe.
No.
Could be.
Don't have them ironed out. Okay. Well, you let me know when Buzz is ready, okay?
Oh, Buzz is ready.
Buzz is ready.
Buzz is absolutely ready.
Well, I mean, talk about a technical problem. Here we go.
Oh, no.
We're bringing him in from outer space.
Yeah, you got too many different issues to talk about here.
And,
No.
and they all surround Buzz.
Do you want me to bring him in?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Buzz Smith, it's good to see you. Oh, my God.
Live long and prosper.
Oh, my gosh. Well, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm on top of the world. The future I've been talking about is right here, right now. It's not off in the 23rd century. It's right here in the beginning of the 21st.
We always knew he was a space case.
Well, let me just go ahead and start off the conversation by saying, Buzz is the electric car guru, and I see that he's now has his own particular wardrobe and background, and it's good to have you with us in all of your splendid glory as
He's
always.
way out there today.
Yeah, way out there. Let me start off by saying to you that there was a snowstorm up on I-95 this week, and apparently it was such a big mess up there
He
that
knew it was coming,
Yeah.
Buzz.
people were stranded in their cars overnight, actually, and
Up to 19 hours.
yeah, it was a big mess up there. How did those charged up cars work?
Oh, fantastic. In fact, they do a lot better than gasoline-powered cars in situations like that, because when you're in stop-and-go traffic or just stop, the electric motor shuts down, unlike the ancient V8s you guys were just discussing a moment ago.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
and so my question
And you
to
know what? No carbon monoxide poisoning would ever happen if
well,
you're in the electric.
there is that, but what about the heater in the car if you're stuck in the car in sub-freezing
Go for
temperatures?
hours and hours.
A
without any
lithium
problem at all.
battery fire is a good heater. I'm sorry.
And it lasts a long time.
Buzz, we have to give you a hard time. You know
We
that.
love you, Buzz.
Especially when you show up with a background like that and your James T. Kirk Star Trek shirt on. That is great. I love it.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, I mean, that is the theme for me today, is the future is here. I was just on a meeting where the North Central Texas Council of Governments was sharing registration numbers in Texas and the S-curve of adoption that I've been talking about for a while. I mean, you can see it taking off. In Texas, we have 108,000 electric vehicles registered right now.
What, pure
And,
EVs?
How's that?
You said there's 108,000 pure EVs on the road in Texas right now.
They're also counting plug-in hybrids in there.
Okay.
So plug-in vehicles. So, yeah, I mean, it's happening right now. And the big tipping point, of course, is the pickup trucks. And we've got great news there with, Rivian has started delivering trucks and has delivered 2 of their R1S SUVs. They've gone public. The stock debuted at about, I think it was $78 a share, went all the way up to about double that, but has come back down into the 80s. So it's probably a good buy right now.
So
Chevrolet I'm not a pickup guy. You guys know this about me, but believe it or not, I put a deposit on the Silverado EV. They brought back the look of the Avalanche. And when I sold cars for a living, people would come in all the time saying, when are you going to bring the Avalanche back? Well, It's back and it's electric.
And it's going to have a mid-gate on it again?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I remember.
I mean, they say you can carry something up to 10 feet long. With the way the tailgate has the flip-up deal to keep stuff from sliding out. That's pretty amazing, but the styling is gorgeous. You may have seen that there's now a Ram EV truck that they've started
talking about,
showing concepts of, so even the laggards here in the U.S. are jumping on the EV bandwagon.
And the Rivian won Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, even though I don't think it's actually out yet, if I remember.
It is out.
It just came out, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I think last I heard they had delivered under 100 of them, but they're starting to crank them out of the factory. In fact, they've now settled on where their location for their second factory is going to be. Ford doubled production on the F-150 Lightning. Unfortunately, Texas lost out on the second Rivian factory. It's going to be built in Georgia. But I was hoping it was going to come to Texas because they were looking at a spot in Fort Worth, which is where I am. So I thought that would be really cool.
Well, Ford doubling. Well, they went from 80,000 to 150,000, but they have like 200,000 reservations. So it makes total sense for them to basically double their production on that because they have that many people waiting for that F-150 Lightning.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they admitted they were completely shocked by the, no pun intended, by the demand for these vehicles out there. And I think that Chevrolet is going to see that when the pickup truck's coming out. By the way, they've also announced the Equinox and Blazer, and they had renderings of what the Equinox is going to look like. This is going to, I mean, it's happening right now, guys. You're going to be able to go into dealerships that you've dealt with for years, and they're going to have electric vehicles. Recently, I was in Austin, Texas for the largest expo ever done for electric vehicles. It was great. They had, I think, 21,000 attendees. They had ride and drive events. I got to drive the Polestar 2, which was interesting. But the car that really got me was the Kia EV6, which is delivering, beginning this month, is delivering in the United States. And that is a gorgeous crossover SUV. It's on my short list. In fact, I have 3 deposits right now on future electric vehicles that are about to debut. And I'm tempted to put one on the Kia as well.
And where are you going to charge all these?
Well, I'm only going to buy one of them, but I'm getting in line so that I can get them.
I was referring to, all these people that are buying them outside of their garage and their home charging station. Where are you going to charge them?
Well, Don, once again, 99% of the time, you are going to charge at home or at work. That's just the way it is. You don't equate this to gas stations. The one time that something like a gas station is going to be important will be on a long road trip. And already Texas has chargers that'll get you from Dallas to Austin to Houston and back again. I've done it. And there are more chargers coming. The government has released, I think it's $50 billion for charging infrastructure in the United States. And so you're going to see a lot more of them in the future, but don't let that hold you up. When cell phones first came out, I had one of the big old, bag phones. Was like a giant purse you had to carry on your shoulder. And the
antenna you put on the roof of the car.
Exactly.
And you looked so good with that big bag purse.
Well, thank you, sir. But driving from Dallas to Houston, there were 3 hours that you were out of contact.
Right.
And nobody said, well, I'm going to wait on cell phones until I can make a call from every square inch of the United States. Cell phones took off, and most people don't even have landlines to their homes anymore.
And you still can't. You still can't make a cell phone call from everywhere in the United States. You go up in East Texas and them tall pine trees.
That's my point. Even now, you can't. But does it stop you from? Do you guys have mobile phones?
Oh yeah.
Well, there you go. So what we have to do is look at how we're going to use this device, whether it's a mobile phone or an electric vehicle. And if we don't take long road trips, there's no reason to not get an electric vehicle right now because you're going to save tons of money. You're going to have great fun with acceleration and cornering, and you're going to love life like I do.
Well, I understand that the Silverado EV is built on the same, what I'll call skateboard chassis. So all of the EV drive battery platform basically looks like a skateboard. They pop the body on. That's going to be built on the same. It's being built on the same skateboard chassis that the Hummer EV is also built on. So that they're sharing.
And even the work truck, the low end one, is going to do 0 to 60 in I think it's 4.5 seconds. So these are going to be really, really fast trucks that get the dollar equivalent of say 80 miles per gallon. With no oil changes, no transmission fluid changes, no fan belts, no spark plugs. It's just
with a starting price of $106,000.
No, $40,000 for the work truck. $104,000 is for the RST, which is the fancy one,
and then $110 for the high dollar Hummer. I know there's a level of Hummers, but I think the only ones they're selling right now are the highest level truck.
Exactly. I mean, this is exactly the Tesla model. Tesla came out with the Roadster first, which was $110,000, then the Model S, which started at the low end around $70,000. And then as time went on, and they got the economy of scale going, then they finally dropped the price to a Model 3 all the way down to $35,000. You're going to see the exact same thing happen with the traditional OEMs as they develop those economies of scale. Now, in the case of GM, the Ultium battery is a new animal, so they have not produced a vehicle yet. The first one will be the Cadillac Lyriq will be the first one that has the Ultium battery packs. So
that's sold out.
Kind of starting over there.
And the Lyriq, I understand, sold out in hours.
Yeah, in fact, the first edition RST, I think they said sold out in 12 minutes. Now the interesting thing there is they don't tell you how many vehicles it is. I mean, if I was producing one vehicle, I could say I sold it out in 10 minutes. So we'll have to see what that actually means when they tell us the numbers involved.
Are you coming to the Houston Auto Show?
Yes, sir.
Are you bringing your green sequin jacket?
Red
sequin jacket.
Yep, I will. I'm going to be in full garb, top hat, and everything. Hope to see you guys there when I'm in town.
Standing out in a crowd.
Yeah, and by the way, you were talking about crate motors earlier. Mm-hmm. Realize that GM offers a crate motor that's electric. So the Bolt EV motor is available to install as a crate motor in a gasoline car. And
is that the one that catches fire?
No. Wow, the Bolt.
No. In fact, out of 75,000 vehicles, 5 caught fire. I originally thought that GM really overreacted on this. And the problem was an anode that was folded incorrectly. And it was LG's fault. And LG is paying 90% of the cost of the recall. But I think now that this will be, like Apollo 13, what they said is, this is GM's finest hour. They went way above and beyond. Everybody's getting a new battery pack. They're getting a brand new warranty. The new battery pack is even better than the original battery pack. So you're going to get much better range than you did before. GM did it right. They took care of their customers. And I think we'll see other manufacturers do the exact same thing. When we first started creating gasoline cars, well, even back in the 70s, when the Chevy Vega came out, that aluminum block had some issues for a while there. And, it was a learning curve. Same thing's going to happen here, but it's good to know that you'll have somebody backing you up.
Buzz, you need to try and make a point of coming down here the first weekend in May for Keels and Wheels, because Bob Fuller's online with us, and he says that there is going to be an antique electric car category this year at Keels and Wheels.
Oh, we got to get the word out about that. I will try to be there.
Think of how cool that's going to be, because, electric cars have been around since the 1900s.
Yep.
In various configurations, and through the years there's been electric cars, but they've never really taken off and never really seen the volume until now. And I'm going to probably give Tesla more of the credit for it, because Elon Musk really made a big deal out of it, and they sell close to 400,000 vehicles last year.
Gosh, I can't remember the number. It was a phenomenally high number, and they've got 1.25 million pre-orders. No, 125,000 pre-orders for the Cybertruck. I think those of us in the electric vehicle world, we owe Elon Musk a huge debt of gratitude, because he took the electric vehicle space, which made, quite honestly, very ugly cars that nobody wanted. I think the OEMs were afraid of high demand, and so they made them intentionally ugly, but they still needed a place to test out the drivetrains. Elon made them sexy, and now we're seeing things like that EV6 and like the Silverado EV. Well, in fact, even that Dodge Ram is a really nice looking truck, if that's what it comes out looking like. I mean, that's going to be something else.
Didn't Elon launch a 3 model into space? And is that what you're looking for up there right now?
Yeah, he did. He did actually do that. And he had an astronaut in a spacesuit, right. A mannequin, obviously. He didn't sacrifice a human being. And last I heard, the perihelion was going to be somewhere around the orbit of Mars. So it's a really oval-shaped orbit, but they said that solar radiation was going to eat that thing alive. There won't be much left of it before long.
And I have to tell you, Buzz, we keep talking about the vehicles and the technology's changing, and it's kind of a lifestyle. We've talked about that, how you kind of change habits and stuff. And I've been looking at it, and I'm seriously, with all the battery technology, considering getting a new electric golf cart to replace one of my gas golf carts.
Oh, why not?
You got to start somewhere, Mike.
Again, a perfect example of an electric vehicle. Stop and go. I wish the Postal Service would switch all those delivery Jeeps over to electric.
Why doesn't the Postal Service just go away?
Well, then who's going to bring me my newspaper then?
That would be UPS and FedEx and Amazon and all the other ones.
Well, I understand Amazon put in a big order with Ram on the ProMaster EV, and was it FedEx put in a pre-order with Chevy on the Silverado as well.
Yeah, and let's see, Amazon, I believe, put in 100,000 vehicle order with Rivian.
Rivian, right.
So Rivian's kind of slowing down on pickup truck production while they shift to delivery vehicle production for Amazon.
And I think the delivery vehicle production is going to be a huge part of what they do, because there's such a high demand for the delivery vehicles in today's world of dial up and order something versus, go to the store yourself.
And I hope they don't go electric for the post office, because I can hear the postman coming like 3 blocks away in his truck. So I know when the mail is delivered. The noise.
I have a dog for that.
Do you? And a cat.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the startups that you think are probably not going to survive the electric phase-in, shall we say, of these vehicles.
I don't really know of anybody that I would put a death sentence on right now. All of them are up in the air. There are some really interesting ones out there that I saw in Austin recently. Indigo Technologies is one that you've probably never heard of, and they're going to address the last mile deliveries and the Uber type market. And it's a really interesting vehicle. The Uber one, it's a 3-wheeler. It's got, instead of doors that hinge or go up like gull wings, they slide back like the back doors in a minivan would.
Yeah, I saw that.
But the idea there is to let passengers or packages easily into the back seat. And one of the Indigo Technology vehicles, which is for the Uber market, just has one seat in the front in the center for the driver, making, again, easy for people to get into the back seat.
So the doors open like the old Kaiser Darren.
I'm unfamiliar with that.
So there's nothing new in the car business. It all comes back.
Yep.
Back from the past.
Another interesting Fisker, who did make a plug-in hybrid that was similar to the Chevy Volt, but much, much sexier and much more expensive. The Fisker Ocean SUV is going to be a full-size SUV coming out late this year. That's one of the ones I put a deposit on, believe it or not. Was a really interesting looking vehicle and a great price point. It's going to start, I think, at $39,000. And it will qualify for the federal income tax credit.
And Fisker started off with a bang and then kind of collapsed, and they were purchased by another company and have been brought back. So, it's good to see that there's that much involvement in even restoring some of those old brand names.
So, Buzz, where is your electric booth going to be at the Houston Auto and Boat Show?
I don't know for sure. Originally, they were saying that the EV display is going to be right when you walk in, but now I've heard it's going to be right near the ride and drive area, the interior ride and drive area. So that's close to where you guys were last time. So we may be over there.
I think we're going to be there, right there in that same area.
So we can come over there and hassle you real easy.
Oh, I'd love
we
it.
could just holler. We could just holler across the room at you.
We love you, Buzz Smith. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure, and we'll see you here in a couple of weeks at the Houston Auto and Boat Show.
Live long and prosper, Buzz.
Buzz Tiberius Smith.
That's it. Take care, brother. Oh, my goodness. We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Konrad's Car Clinic. And what's on the agenda today, sir?
Well,
You've had 3 weeks to think about this.
Changing transmission fluid. Can it hurt my transmission? You hear some people talk about, I've got so many miles on my vehicle, I don't want to change my transmission fluid. Well, the true answer is no, it's not going to hurt anything. But the does the transmission fluid exchange really need to be done? Of course, I'd say yes. I work for a company that builds the best tools and equipment to perform transmission services. But here's unbiased facts. Automatic transmissions use a transmission fluid that's a hydrocarbon. It's based on a hydrocarbon. And those fluids are used to activate pistons, lubricate gear sets, and keep moving parts cool. All fluids inside of a vehicle cool, clean, and lubricate until they don't. And when they don't is when you start to see component failure.
When do they don't?
Well, as they age and they oxidize, they lose those abilities to do those things.
How would you know that?
It'll discolor. One of the things
turn brown.
It turns brown, then it turns black, and then it turns thick, and then things stop working correctly, and
it clogs up.
Leave.
So you want to change it before it does that.
Oh, you actually want to change it right about the time it starts to turn brown, the transmission fluid. Because heat is what hurts the fluid itself. The oxidation rate of a hydrocarbon doubles every 18 degrees over 180 degrees. So if they say your transmission fluid's good for 100,000 miles in your vehicle, well, that's done at 180 degrees. In today's cars, the thermostat inside the radiator is 205, 210 degrees. So you're sending transmission fluid up there to get cooled in 205-degree temperature. So the fluid going up there is hotter than that. So that's where the fluid begins to degrade because it's so hot. Heat's the culprit of most transmission failures. You can always have heat. You'll always have heat in your transmission, but in today's transmissions, heat and transmission fluid are kind of like roommates, inconsiderate and incompatible roommates. Have you ever had one of those?
Don?
Many.
Over time and miles and high temperatures, transmission fluid starts to break down, and that as the fluid breaks down, it'll cause the operating temperature inside your transmission to go even higher. Despite what you may hear from vehicle manufacturers that transmission fluid lasts forever, it's really not true. When it hits that point, it no longer is going to protect the components, and it stops cooling, cleaning, and lubricating. Your engine, you typically change your oil somewhere between 500 and 7,500 miles. Well, the same thing with your transmission fluid. As it ages, you need to change that fluid out because, again, it's still a hydrocarbon. Transmission fluid begins to break down somewhere in the 25,000, 30,000 mile range in most vehicles. Some may go a little bit longer if you're kept cool. Neglect is what hurts your transmission. Most of the horror stories you hear about transmission-related problems after a fluid change are caused because the customer waited way too long before they changed the fluid, which means the transmission generally already had a problem, and changing the fluid just exacerbated the problem. So change your transmission fluid on a regular interval. I'm a believer about every 30,000 miles. Take out all that old contaminated fluid and fill it with fresh, new fortified fluid and head on down the road. There's no reason to change the filters anymore. The fluid and the cleaner that's put in when you do a good transmission flush is going to clean the filter as well. I've seen the evidence of that. Transmission fluid has a lot of detergency in them. I used to wash my hands. I did a lot of differential work and Oldsmobile diesel work back in the day, and your hands just kind of stink doing that kind of work. And I would literally wash my hands with transmission fluid, clean transmission fluid, because I had so much detergency in them.
That's why you have no more fingernails and everything's all worn right off of there.
There's other reasons for that. Yep. So do yourself a favor and your car a favor and stick to a solid maintenance regimen and change your transmission fluid about every 30,000 miles.
Do you own a 2022 Toyota 4Runner? Well, an inoperable driver's side high beam headlight is a part of a recall that has been issued by the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration. There are other recalls as well. Tesla Model S 2014 to 2021, the front trunk hood, that would be the frunk, wouldn't it? May open unexpectedly.
Bonnet.
That would not be a good thing at 70 miles
Slaps the
an
windshield
hour.
when that happens.
A rear view camera image may not display on the Tesla Model 3 from 2017 through 2020. Call your
so you
dealer.
can look into the past. You can look back to 2017 with that camera.
Back to the future.
That's exactly what it is. I love that. Yeah. Here's an interesting story that I really wanted to get to. If you work in any business, you know about the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And you know about age discrimination, color discrimination, and discrimination across the board.
Right.
Well,
vaccine discrimination.
There's that. Automotive News has a story. An Ohio BMW dealership has agreed to pay $390,000 in damages and back pay and beef up anti-discrimination practices to settle a lawsuit brought by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The EEOC alleged that Davis Automotive Group's BMW Cleveland location had fired 2 employees because of their age.
What?
Oh! BMW Cleveland also allegedly retracted an offer to rehire another another former employee for a new position, awarding the job to a younger and less qualified person. These actions represented unlawful age discrimination under the Age Discrimination and Employment Act, according to the EEOC. Davis Automotive Group admitted no wrongdoing under the terms of the consent decree signed December 13th that previously denied the government's charges in a 2019 court filing. BMW Cleveland allegedly offered a job overseeing a new customer call center to former service advisor Kimberly Saba, 52. She resigned her current job and contacted the dealership about her start date, but never received a response, according to the EEOC.
Uh-oh.
You own a dealership, you own any kind of a business. Listen to this. Saba learned that defendant had hired a less qualified individual, age 32, for the position.
Oh.
Ultimately, the younger employee was removed from that job and returned to her old position as a receptionist, yet the dealership still never contacted Saba, according to the agency. Dealership also allegedly fired sales personnel Ronald Wesley, 70, and Avery Weeder, 67, in 2017, despite both meeting job expectations and having worked at the dealership for multiple years. Future sales personnel hired had less experience and were mostly younger than 40, the EEOC alleged.
We all need to go there and get jobs. Let's go.
BMW Cleveland, under the settlement, will pay $390,000, which the EEOC will divide as it sees fit among Saba, Wesley, and Weeder.
Yeah, they're all going to get $100,000 for doing what? Getting fired and not getting hired. I love it.
They're going to get $12.
Except they're going to get $12. The attorneys are going to make the rest of it.
You bet. The problem is they hire the younger ones because they can pay them less.
Well, when you're starting out in life,
why would you say something like that?
Because I'm a man who comes from the corporate world.
That's right. I've seen it.
You got to learn somewhere.
That's right. Not going there.
I guess
that's a good story.
I guess it gives us all hope.
And it's not uncommon.
No.
In any business.
No.
But it just so happened that this happened to be a car dealership. So that 70-year-old guy that's cranking out the hits and selling everything that he's got to sell, and he gets fired because of his age. Whoops. Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see it. I won't go there.
We're going to get jobs there. Well, get application online.
Yeah. Well, I think that they're in a heap of trouble, and I'm sure that they'll fix it.
They'll pay dearly for it.
Yeah. Most definitely. We're going to take a quick break now here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
You're invited to the event of the year. The Houston Auto Show and Houston Boat Show are getting hitched. January 26th through the 30th at NRG Center. The Auto Show and Boat Show unite for the first time ever. Take a test drive, board your dream boat, check out the latest and greatest models. One ticket gets you into 2 great events. The Houston Auto and Boat Show, January 26th through 30th at NRG Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Because of inclement weather, the Tailpipes and Tacos December Cruise-In was canceled. Darn it. But when it returns in the spring, expect a new and exciting way to enjoy the gathering. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's unique Saturday morning cruise-in, and with a new quarterly format, you'll have more time for car mods and to get ready for cruise-in trophies. Yup, you can compete for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and more. And the top car will be featured on a full-size poster that'll be used to promote the next event. Bragging rights are guaranteed here. Tailpipes and and Tacos wants to thank all participants and visitors who made the event an exclusive, fun gathering of unique cars, trucks, hot rods, and lots of muscle. And we know you'll enjoy it even more in 2022. Tailpipes and Tacos will still be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, just south of I-10 at Kingsland Boulevard on 99, the Grand Parkway. Stay tuned right here to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, and we'll tell you the exact date for the next event. Until next time, be sure to visit the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, where you'll find the best fajitas this side of California. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.